Good morning. Well, welcome. My name is Paula Kiley. I am the director of the Milwaukee Public Library, and I want to welcome all of you to a very special event on a very special day. Earlier today, I was talking with some of my team members, and we were reflecting back on how long ago this project started. Seems like it was a really long time ago. It was actually about 2.5 years ago, and I'll tell you a little bit about that story later. We have a number of speakers and a number of people I would like to recognize this morning before we get started. First, we have a number of library board members. We have with us today Alderman Ashanti Hamilton. We have County Supervisor and Library Trustee Theo Lipscomb is here this morning. Michelle Bria, CEO of Journey House, is also with us and a library trustee. Sharon Cook, thank you for being here. Sharon is one of our trustees as well. We also have with us this morning the president of the Milwaukee County Federated Library System, Paul Zeeler. Paul, thank you for being here as well. And we have the executive director of our foundation, Ryan Daniels, is here, and his board member, Jim Cornfield. Jim, thank you for being here as well. We also have a number of students here, and I'm looking around for short people. We have students from Richard Kluge Elementary, students from Browning Elementary, the Silver Spring Neighborhood Center's Schreiber Center, and Kilbourne Elementary are all here today to learn about their new library and to learn how to get a library card. We thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you back at the library many more times in the future. I'd also like to thank and recognize those critical people without whom these projects would not take place. I'd like to thank Mayor Tom Barrett, the Common Council, and the Library Board for their support and their shared vision for what this library could be and what it would mean to this community. And personally, I want to thank the mayor for his confidence and his trust in me for letting us go ahead with this project. Mayor, could you come up?
Well, thank you very much, Paul, and good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. We'll get this in before it rains, if it's going to rain, but I am delighted to be here this morning, and I have to start out by talking about one of my favorite musicals of all time, and that's Fiddler on the Roof. And there's a lot of songs that I love in it: Sunrise, Sunset, If I Were a Rich Man. But this morning, as I stand here this morning, I can't help but think of Matchmaker, Matchmaker, Make Me a Match. Because what we have accomplished here is a wonderful match between two incredible organizations in our community. One, of course, is the Housing Authority that does a great job and has transformed West Lawn into a place where people can live with dignity. And that is my goal as mayor of this city, is to make sure people of all incomes, of all ages, of all backgrounds can live in dignity. And we have achieved that in West Lawn through the leadership of Tony Perez and his staff and his incredible board that have done such a great job in helping us make this a place where people, again, can live in dignity. The other organization, which is near and dear to my heart, of course, is the Milwaukee Library. And Paula Kiley and her phenomenal staff, along with our library board and council and all the members who are here, who are representing the oversight committee that oversees the library, ensure that our library system serves all of our residents as well. And what we are accomplishing right now is we are transforming our libraries, our main library and our 13 neighborhood libraries, or if you want to add this, our 14th neighborhood library, into 21st century libraries, because we have virtually updated every one of our library systems, every one of our libraries, to make sure that they have the technology so that people who are coming to use these facilities can use them. Now, what's super special about the library we're going to open right now is it's a 24-hour-a-day library. So when there it is at 3 in the morning, you wake up and you know you want to read something, this is where you can come, just like that. or 3 in the afternoon, or 10 o'clock. And it's going to have books for our young readers, which is very, very important, for teenagers. And it's really something to incorporate learning in our community. So I couldn't be prouder today to have this. We are one of the first cities in the country to have this. I think there are only 3 other cities, 2 in California, 1 I think in Oklahoma. We're the 4th city to have this, so this is a big deal to have this. And I also want to thank Jackie Burrell and our council here, our West Lawn Council. As you can see, Jackie is very humble. But she and her West Lawn Residents Council really have been active not only in this but in all sorts of things. This summer I completed my 100-mile walk in 100 days, and my best and biggest walk was right here at West Lawn. So thank you again. But congratulations to Paula, to Tony, to John Gurda, to all the others that have been involved in this. This shows that this city cares about its residents and wants to increase and improve the quality of life for all residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. It is now a pleasure for me to introduce John Gurda. Many of you know John Gurda from his books, from his television show, from his lectures, but I know John best as the current president of the Milwaukee Public Library Board of Trustees and as a fellow team member in the venture to bring an express library to the city of Milwaukee. John helped to prioritize the development of a financially feasible express library concept, as well as a broad facilities program that would rebuild our branch library system as the mayor mentioned. I'm pleased to introduce John. Please join me in welcoming him.
Hey, thank you, Paula. I was part of a ceremony like this 20-some years ago at the Central Library. We were retiring the card catalog. And that was a watershed in certainly the recent history of the library. And I talked about all those years of bloodying your cuticles by paging through all those tight little cards. And to think that you could actually tap on a few keys and have this whole world of information open on your screen would have been inconceivable to our ancestors. So we're doing the same thing today. The thought that you could have a library on the street available 24/7 to anybody with a free card would have been like personal transporters and automatic ovens and all those Rube Goldberg devices that were science fiction back in the day. But when you think about it, the commitment is the same. MPL has always had the commitment to provide a world of information to the people of Milwaukee where they live and by whatever means available. We've been doing it since 1878, and we'll do it for decades to come with technologies that we in the present 2014 cannot imagine today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It's now a great pleasure for me to introduce a major partner in today's success, Tony Perez. Tony Perez is the fearless leader of the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee. Some years ago, Tony asked me to come and meet him right here. No, actually it was in your office. And he had this idea. He told me about this great project that he was engaging in, going to rebuild the West Lawn community, make it just an ideal model for a place for people to live. And Tony, because of what he understands about education and literacy, knew that the community really needed a library. So Tony said, Paula, I want you to build one of your express libraries here. And I said, Tony, if you have the money, I will design that library, I will build that library, and I will run that library. And I didn't hear back from Tony for a while. So another idea came to us, and I asked Tony to come to a meeting, and we presented the idea of adding an express vending library to West Lawn. Tony hesitated for a little while, and I actually got nervous, and then he quickly and enthusiastically said yes, he wanted to be a partner. And I can think of no better partner for this project than Tony Perez and his team. Tony, come on up.
There's a dear fellow, he left recently, he was at MATC, and he instructed me on certain gifts that he would call ponies, you know, and said, beware, Tony, if it's a pony, you got to feed him, you know. So the difference on that second visit, I should mention, was that, yes, there was a little money, but more important, it was that we bounced the idea by the mayor in one of our meetings, and he said, you got to do that. So, hey, I had my marching orders, so we had to make it happen. So that's the X factor, all right, Mayor Barrett. There's a poet of our, not of our times, T.S. Eliot, and at some point, you know, heralded poet, the very existence of libraries affords the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of man, I would say mankind. And so, and well, we could think about that as the future. You have about 1, 2, 6 pieces if you take the top and the bottom of a box, and that's a window into the present, the past, the future. It's a time machine, as far as I'm concerned. And more than a window, it's a door. And we can walk in there. By the way, this is also now becomes a bus stop. And thank you for the county with the help on that area. So transportation and knowledge come together at this corner. We're at a moment of transformation, as you see around on 60th, and the old and the new, and we have work ahead. And Mayor, please, the X factor, we're trying to figure out how to work with that yet. Okay, so, but don't ask me too hard yet. All right. This is a new community amenity, the Express Library. It represents not only the continuation of the transformation of the old Westlawn into the new Westlawn Gardens, but also the tool that residents will be able to use to transform their lives if they choose to do so. Access to books correlates significantly with school reading scores, and we need that. And the resources in this library can assist adults in achieving their own educational and employment goals. We're thankful to the library, to Paula, for keeping she kept asking for a while, the Board of Trustees, and we're thankful in particular to the resident of Westlawn, who inspire us time and time again. And this is an exhortation not only to quote the residents of Westlawn, but the broader community that this is intended to serve. This is an exhortation. On a bad day, be neutral about it. On a good day, use it and protect it. Because this is the kind of investments that are far and few between. I wish to God that there were more of those, but they're not. So we have to be the sentinels that now make sure that this is productive. So Mr. Gurda, 20 years from now, can sit or stand in some places. I remember 20 years ago, you know. And so God knows what will happen at that time. And we'd like to point out our development team, Warren Jones, Michael Stansel, Glenn Radford, Richard Cuevas. We'd like to point out our maintenance team, Mr. Wellman, James Wellman, Dave Anderson, Paul Jens, Mike Wellman, and the architectural work from Kindness Architecture. We also happen to have in our midst past Alderman Don Richards, who has been an inspiration to us.
Northwest corner of my district.
There you go. So have I said it anymore? And thank you for being here today. We're holding on to the weather. Be sure that we are able to, accomplish the task at hand. But we have many people that not only wish us well, but basically are testing us to see if we deliver on a promise. And that's what we're attempting to do today. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I think Tony said it very well about the importance of the library, the importance of reading, and the key to education, which is reading. And you can't read without books. You can't read without access to materials, whether it's online or in physical format. And the addition of this 24/7 library we hope is going to make a difference in the lives of every person who comes to this community, who lives in this community, and we are very excited about that. We are truly lucky to have leadership in this city like Mayor Barrett, like the Common Council, that again puts their confidence in us, in the library, to help improve our community. I do want to recognize and thank the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, for it was due to them and a grant that we received that we were able to take a trip to Houston, Texas. This was in the early months of 2012, and we went to visit their express libraries. They were very different from what we had in mind, and they are very different from our express library now. But it was that trip, there were 6 of us, 3 staff members, 3 trustees. It was that trip that really generated the decision to add the express library. And I want to thank that team and the foundation for funding it. Everything happens because of the help of a lot of people, and this team was a large team. I want to recognize them, starting with Joan Johnson, our Deputy Library Director, who was the project manager on this team. Joan, thank you so much. I want to thank our trustees who you met earlier. I'd also like to thank the entire Express team, which includes Taj Shaning, Bruce Gay, Corey Meagle, Dawn Lauber, our circulation team, Mary Evans and Cindy Barnes McLeod, and many, many others who have dedicated their time and their talents and are here today around you. Look for blue t-shirts. Those are your team members. And I want to thank the volunteers who are helping today as well. This is a big investment in library services. It is also a pilot. It is the first time in the Midwest that we have a 24/7 library. We intend to learn a lot about this and to look for improvements. So while this may be the first, we hope it will not be the last. And to the residents of this community, we listened to you, we've delivered your library, now we ask you to use it and take pride in it. Check out the books and materials, order things, pick them up, and tell us if you're not finding things you need, tell us what you want. Take care of your library and encourage others to take care of it and use it as well. This is your library. Now let's go check it out.
One, two, three.